You are not special. That may sound really harsh. That's how it sounded to me because I received it 4 years ago on January 22nd of 2020. So uh, a, a day before, because now it's January 21st of 2024. But see, a lot of times what happens is I receive information and it's always kind of related to certain dates that are going on in my life or in our world. And so that's what I'm going to talk about now. But first of all, if this is your first time here, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and please share this with others because I would like to get this information out to more people. I'm saying that because, see, you will notice that on my YouTube channel, I don't have that many viewers. I don't get that many views because I've been hiding. All the people told me you should get this bigger, hire people to get it out there more. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. See, because I kept hiding. And when I received the message about you are not special, I thought I really don't want to say that because people think that they are special and they're supposed to be special, except that's actually wrong. You see, because if we think that we are special, then we're saying that we're better than someone else. Or if we think that others are special, then we're saying that we're less than others. And then we're perpetuating to the problems that we experience in our lives and then the same difficulties and challenges that we witness in our world. Because that's it, thinking that one is more than another. But let me tell you something. This is going to be the best video you've ever heard. Let me tell you what happened. So the other day, I'm listening to a little reel, some little news reel from about the 1960s. And I always find those so challenging because I remember all of that. But they were talking about the Ouija board, and they were saying that was a big phase, a big craze during that time. Well, it wasn't for me. I was in my teens during the 60s, and so I don't remember going into that arena. So I don't know that. But I do remember it in the 80s because that was a different time. Now, I'm going to read you something because this came through from a Ouija board in 1984, November 1st, 1984. I was asking about my headaches, and I received this answer. Some probable causes are tension, compulsive habits, and your restless insistence on pleasing nearly everyone but yourself, with the result that you please no one. It goes on, but that has been the story of my life. That's been the difficulty in my life. I try to please everyone. It's just been my nature. I just love people so much. So I said, I'm going to do whatever I can to help. And this is what caused the headaches. I did a video a while ago about how I cured my cluster headaches, because that's what this message was about. I suffered from cluster headaches for decades, and I was determined to get to the root of it. That message told me the answer, and it came from a Ouija board. Now, I didn't change it. It took decades for me to actually change it. So I do understand the process of changing our consciousness and mind body healing. But to tell you, no, that was going to be a really too challenging for me to do that. Because see, today I got up and I had brunch with my friend because we do that every Sunday. And then he said, "Well, how are things?" And I said, "Well, things have changed again. I have more." And he says, "You say that every week." I go, "Well, yeah, because that's how it works. We don't evolve in our consciousness in an instant and then we know everything. Every day you're becoming more. Every day our consciousness expands and we gain more. So of course I'm going to see that there's more." Then right after that, he sits there and he tells me that he just watched Barbie. He watched Barbie again. And this time he saw all the different things that he didn't see before and all the messages and all the different that he didn't understand the first time that he saw it. And I sat there and I stared at him and I said, "Do you hear the contradiction?" See, that's what we do. See, the contradiction was he went to see the movie again because he knew he was going to capture more information or he would understand more. And I'm sitting there saying, well, yeah, I'm living in my body. And today I understand more than I did yesterday or last week. And that's what we each do every single day. But that's challenging to believe that. Then the next thing that happened was I was going on a walk today after this whole incident, and I'm listening to a video. It was on a channel called Behavior. the behavior something. It's about analyzing behavior. Yeah, the behavioral arts. And these two guys are sitting there talking about a Dr. Phil episode, an interview where this kid was on their guy. He was a young guy, just finished college, and he's saying that he was from the future, that he was a cyborg and he was coming with great information to give the world. And his mother brought him there because she thought, well, he's obviously something's wrong with him. Now he's graduated college and she just wants him to get a job. And he's sitting there going, no, because I got to bring this information because the world is moving into this place and you're going to have this disaster and things will be destroyed and it's going all of this. And they're looking at him thinking he's just really out of his mind. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, that's fascinating that you would know whether or not he was out of his mind. See, because I also dealt with that. I always thought I was really crazy. That was the one title of my TED talk I was going to do. I said, I am not crazy. My life makes sense and how I found my life purpose. Because, see, we can go through our lives thinking that somehow we're a little crazy when we're starting to get new information or develop new things that come through us. And I went through that, so I do understand it. And I made a comment on that video. I rarely comment on videos, but I did have to do it on this one because I saw everybody trying to figure out this guy. Is it a mental illness? It is this, that, and the other. Even if it were a mental illness, wouldn't that be helpful for all of us to understand what that was about? Anyway, without the judgment. And so I said, you can't analyze consciousness. We think we can do that, but how do we know? Who has all the answers? Who's figured it all out? No one has because it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process that we go through in our individual lives, and it's an ongoing process that we go through collectively in the collective consciousness. And that is what's occurring now in the world. See, because when I was told that I was given information that would help us during this period, it didn't make sense to me. Why would I have information that came through? And then I keep hearing, well, you lived it all. Then the other day, I pulled out a video, and you'll find it on my channel. It was from a channeling session that was from a year ago. Again, on January 22nd. How could we? That's pretty interesting. But I said, no one has heard it because, again, I hid it. But now people are listening to it because all the information came through about why I'm doing the work that I've done, why I held back, why it didn't charge enough money, all those things. It was in that video, but many people wouldn't have heard it, but now they're starting to hear it. And I will be changing so much of that because we're moving into a different period where we all need to own who we are a bit more. But let me read to you the message that says you are not special and you will understand. Please register for the upcoming Wilhelm channeling session because I'm going to be doing more of those. I had to make some decisions about my next step in my life, and I know that the channeling sessions really help because I don't know what's going to come through. I just know that it's always really helpful. When I receive information, might be a little different than some of the other channelers or mystics or whoever is out there because mine has been, oddly enough, corresponding to the events that are happening in our world. Now, I didn't know that. None of us know what's going to develop, but that's actually what happened. And so on this one, you will understand a bit more. But if you come to the channeling session on Thursday, you will you know a lot more. But you don't have to be there in person either. Just register and you will have that. But let me show you the message, which was, and again, let me explain it. This came through 4 years ago. I understand it today. January 22nd, 2020, you are not special. We know that many of you believe that not feeling special is the source of the difficulties you might experience in your lives. The opposite is true. You think that you are special and you are the only one who doubts themselves, or you believe that others are far more special than you. Releasing these beliefs is the key to your freedom. Roger needed to review our messages because we said to him we have never used the word special, and he wanted to be sure. Now we have said you are important, and those words and meanings are quite different. Yesterday, Roger had an experience where he did not fully understand, but he knew it would bring him clarity. Roger has known he possesses the ability to find his truth, and wants to share it with others to help them alleviate their suffering, but didn't believe he had something special that was necessary. That was the big lie you all have chosen to believe. We led him to a video this morning of an interview with Byron Katie and Lewis Howes. Rogers heard of Byron for years, but did not know this was a female and never investigated her work. During the interview, she uttered the words we had just given Roger. You are not special. You each have these experiences that you choose to call coincidences, and they are not. Then Lewis asked Byron if she knew of Mary Baker Eddy, which she had only heard the name. Lewis went on to explain she was the founder of Christian Science, which is the religion in which he was raised, as Roger was. Again, not an accident. Now Roger understood why he has held back this information, for as Lewis, he would be considered to be a bit crazy. Here is the point. You have each been given lives with unique paths and experiences that lead you to your truth, that brings you wisdom to share with the world. The only obligation that you have in this life is to live that. When you don't, you know you are not because you feel bad, period. And I felt bad a lot in my life because I couldn't do that. Couldn't tell you this is what I did. Couldn't tell you that in 1988, when I stepped down and started receiving information from Wilhelm, oh, wow, that was strange, but it was healing my life. And then now I'm 73, and everything that I'd moved through that I've healed, it just didn't make sense to me or to others. And so in 2021, when I started putting out my work and I said, listen, you could change things. I've got these 31 assignments that will just take you into this new place and transform your life. People said, no, that's not possible. And then they didn't believe me, I guess, because I wasn't charging enough money. And I knew that one too. That's called self-sabotage. When we can't own our work, our worth, and our value from what we've accomplished or achieved in our lives, then that is another form of self-sabotage. And I've been doing it for a really long time, so I'm just going to talk about it. However, my members now will no longer allow me to do that because we're having a really great time. And so when I doubted what I was doing, because of course, I couldn't have been special, and I just held back. And then I'm seeing people now who are coming out of this work and are so clear. They're knowing their purpose. They're like giving it to others. They're doing things I never expected. And you can hear about it because there's a video on my YouTube channel where these people say, I've moved through things that I never thought I could. I will never get anyone to believe that because again, we have been limited in our thinking by what we've lived. And so this is where we are now in our world, and we're going to have much more of this throughout this year. This is why I've given that information as well. 2024 is going to be a game changer for our planet, and that's why I'm doing my work and why I have to do more. My members have been so wonderful, and I love them so much. When I was afraid of doing this, and now what happens is I get to see them every week in these calls, and we're having this love fest where we're creating some good in this world, and we're convinced that we're just going to change the world because we're loving who we are. We're bringing in our individual gifts and talents, and they're flourishing, but we're supporting one another because it's always challenging when you're trying to develop something, when you're trying to live your life purpose, but now we're doing it. You will do the same thing. But I hope to see you on Thursday, but please register because again, regardless, we're going to send the replay to everyone. So, all right, you guys have a really great and wonderful day.